representative of Colombia, and I now give the floor to the Russian Federation, to be followed by Liechtenstein and Brazil. The Russian Federation has the floor.
Спасибо, госпожа председатель.
Thank you, Madam President. We thank you in a personal capacity for convening today's meeting. We welcome the presence of the former presidents of the General Assembly, and we thank them for contributing to the debate. Russia has always been a supporter of the reform of the United Nations, which is an indispensable mechanism to manage international relations currently. Our organization needs to be able to adapt to the challenges of our time, and we formally support the reform process. The development of a multipolar world is an undeniable fact. And against this backdrop, we need to breathe new life into the multilateral system to find answers to the challenges facing us all. To guarantee collective leadership, the role of the United Nations and the General Assembly is essential. They are essential bodies, just as other bodies and actors such as the G20. Interregional organizations and inter-regional integration organizations are playing an increasingly important role. Following the Second World War, when we laid the foundations of the United Nations, we placed our hopes and worked towards a multipolar world. We strived to respect the rules within foreign relations, refusing interference in the affairs of other countries, and only intervening for purposes of defense or with the permission of the Security Council. Upholding these principles is the cornerstone of international stability. Madam President, turning to today's discussions and our distribution between optimists and pessimists, we think that we need to find another way of looking at things. The optimists, as we know, are those who invented aeroplanes, and pessimists are those who invented parachutes. However, today we face matters that remind us that we need to act within a rules-based system. Today, within our discussions, we are looking at a matter. We're looking at a multilateral, rules-based multilateral system. But today's topic might lead us to be misguided when we look at the final outcomes and results of our work. The Russian Federation is optimistic, and very often we have shared our concerns. When we talk about a rules-based multilateral system, well, sometimes we see that some parties want to be able to introduce their own rules. The problem is that these rules are often a flagrant example of recourse to a double standards approach. These rules are a pretext to review the international legal framework that is already in existence. And to create small groups of states, clubs of interests, that by their very nature exclude multilateralism. These groups do not act to uphold the rules of the United Nations and the Security Council. They strive to pursue their own interests. We are convinced that this multilateral, rules-based multilateral system is in no way related to the activities of these small groups of countries. The revitalization of the United Nations must involve multilateralism and not the interests of these groups of countries. It is essential that we rely exclusively on international law. This is an essential matter. We have this multilateral system, rules-based multilateral system, which cannot run counter to international law. We hope that these thoughts will be borne in mind in our work on the revitalization of the United Nations. Thank you very much.
I thank the Russian Federation